Welcome to the Commercial Real Estate Starting from Scratch podcast with me, your host, John Kleisch, at episode number 10. 10 episodes, guys. We did it. 10. That's crazy. I did say that I would do something special on episode 10, and guess what? We're not doing anything special today, so I lied, and I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. However, before we get into that, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. To give you an idea of what we do here, I am documenting my journey from $0 owned in commercial real estate up until however long we get there. I will be talking about pretty much everything that I'm doing. I will be going over the numbers, how I found deals, what I'm doing to find deals. I'll even do a podcast where I'm actually calling brokers and getting deals and talking to them and what I talk about and everything like that. So I appreciate you coming along for the journey. It'll be fun. I recommend going back starting in the very beginning so you can get caught up to speed. At this very moment, I've been in commercial real estate for about 3 months, maybe 4 months, and I have 50% ownership and $1.5 million worth of real estate, soon to be close to 2 once we get the rents bumped up on that. And I'm about to close on my second building, which is an office building, any day now. It was supposed to be today, but surprise, surprise, lender docs are not in, so we can't close. So back to the episode. We will be talking about Thunderbird, which is the office building that I am about to close on, and it should be any day now. Hopefully the end of the week would be the latest because I got stuff to do, and we need to get rocking and rolling on this remodel. So I've touched on this building a couple times in the past. To give you an idea to get everyone caught up to speed, I will just start with the numbers. We bought it for $641,000. It is a 2-suite office building. One is 6,400 square feet, which is vacant and needs a slight facelift. The other one is 1,300 square feet and is wildly under rented, but remodeled and has a tenant in there for a long time, a long time. And when I mean under rented, they're about 50% under rent. So they are interested in staying, which is great for us. A little bit of cash flow along the way will be great. Currently, they're paying $1,300 per month for their little spot, which will actually help out quite a bit. I've never had a property where I had another tenant in the building and they were paying rent. So that's a pretty cool concept. Helps the bleed a little bit. Initially, our plan for this office building was to do a full remodel, and I'll go over those numbers. And then the longer we looked at it, and my partner, John Heisler, had a really good idea of, hey, let's just wholesale this thing. I was actually talking to another local guy, J.R. Piper, shout out. I appreciate the heads up advice on this one. He's a gentleman that's flipped tons and tons of houses in this particular area in Phoenix called Sun City, which is mostly for old folks. And he mentioned to me that on all the deals he did out there, he did not like to do full-blown upgrades and remodels to the modern stuff because the clientele did not like it at all. And he would just do the bare minimum, keep it really, really basic, no thrills kind of remodel, like the old folks like, simple and plain, and he crushed. And then we went back to the drawing board, looked at it again, and said, hey, how can we apply this method to it? Because this one has gorgeous trim work. I've talked about it a lot. And we were going to paint it. And painting that trim work was going to be a bulk of the expenses. It was $45,000 to paint the interior of this building, which is a lot. And $15,000 for the exterior. So that was a $60,000 deal that now we are going to avoid. So with that knowledge, it's also a lot less risky to go out there and totally do a full-blown remodel for a couple reasons. A, John's told me he's done $50,000 upgrades, ripped out all the carpet, did all the paint, signed a lease with a tenant for an office as well. And on day one, what did that guy do? He ripped up all of the carpet and changed the paint color right away. So basically, John flushed 50 G's down the toilet. So after hearing that story, it sounded pretty good, this wholesale option. At first, I was a little bit nervous, like, oh, from the residential side of things, you're always wanting to fix it up, make it the nicest house on the block, make it look really good, tip-top, everything stand out. But here, A, the part of town, and B, also, too, we're not renting single family homes. These are for people to do business. So there is a very good chance they come in and don't like what we do and then redo it anyways. And when you're talking about remodeling 6,500 square feet, the costs get out of hand very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. So overall, what's cool is our spitball numbers came pretty dang close to the actual numbers here. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. I think I mentioned this earlier. If you guys are just listening to this one might be a little bit hard to follow. I'd recommend going on Spotify. I think YouTube's got it. I don't know if I'm on YouTube yet, but I will be soon. I know Spotify for sure has the video versions of this. If not, I'll do my best to kind of talk through the numbers, so visualizations may not be that important. So let's see here, make sure I'm going to the right one. Beautiful. And here we are. Very cool. Zoomed in. So on the right, Thunderbird full remodel. Flooring, we were going to go with a guy that was 35 grand. He has commercial experience. Interior paint, I talked about 45,000. Exterior paint, 15,000. The elevator is in great shape. We got that inspected for free, which I thought was awesome. And there are some slight upgrades that we would need to do. This is an old, very simple elevator that has the little bump things that you have to actually hit on the door for it to pop back open. So it's closing on you. You got to hit that thing. Nowadays, everything is all lasered. And cool things about elevators is they are grandfathered in on the day they were installed. So if the code changes with the elevator, as long as the install date was prior to that code changing, then it's grandfathered in. If you upgrade certain things, that may change the installation date, so you'll have to upgrade other things as well. To give you an idea, this is a 2-story office, and if we were to fully upgrade the unit to a brand new 2025 unit, it would be over 150 G's, which is just nuts. Use the stairs, folks, for cry eye. Bathroom updates, there were just going to be 2 of them that got done, 17 grand. 1 kitchen / break room, you could call it, about 9 grand for that. All of the door hardware getting replaced from the brass to something cool and modern was going to be 5 grand. We were going to do $10,000 in landscaping, and thank goodness the roof is good on this one. It's excellent. I saw it with my own eyes. It's a spray foam roof. We have 4 AC units total, and unfortunately 2 of them are kaput. So my buddy Clint, shout out Clint, thanks bud, is going to replace these 2 units, $26,130. And then of course, always putting in miscellaneous things on there because I'm not a flipper. I am not very good at remodeling things. So I always build in a buffer, and chances are we would have used that. Total rehab, $187,000. At that point, purchase price $641 plus the rehab, not including money costs and closing costs and things like that. That's $828,000. Now, we were banking on that thing being at least 1.2 to 1.5 by doing that. So the numbers look juicy, but after getting all that other information about Sun City in general and then reducing the risk, very excited to move forward with this option. So the wholesale option, we're going to go with a cheaper company, a little bit cheaper for flooring, so that's 30 grand. The AC units are the same, 26,130. Clean out, which I don't think I even had on the first one, was about $3,500 to get rid of all the junk. This one is a foreclosure, so it is not full of stuff, but there's quite a bit of stuff, which is tables, desks, paperwork, computers, so on. Lots of heavy desks, I think, that are going to be a bulk of that cost. Landscaping, we bumped down to 8 grand. That elevator sensor I talked about, $2,600 actual quote. Then there are some walls with wallpaper that are going to need to get ripped down and drywalled and painted. And then I have $10,000 for miscellaneous. Now, after whittling everything down, the less that we're doing, the less room there is going to be for stuff to pop up. So that's why I reduced that down to $10,000, giving us a total budget of $82,930. I'm taking bets, boys and girls, on the over-under on this number. I would venture to say over slightly. If I had to guess, I would bet that we do not surpass $90,000. Do I think that will be less than $82,000? I don't give that a shot. Not at all. So that is the plan. That is the remodel. Now, as far as time frame goes, 30 days would be very quick, very, very, very quick. I know the flooring people told me 2 to 3 weeks. So you hear two, but you know that means three, maybe even 4 weeks. I am going to get everything else done, make sure that the flooring people can get in, start right away, start ripping up all that carpet, hauling that off the second that I'm done with everything else. And that way, once those guys are done with the flooring, I'll be able to, boom, get that thing listed. We are planning on leasing it or getting it listed for lease and for sale at the same time. And that way we'll take whichever one comes to us, because according to CoStar, we should be getting $22 per square foot. If that's accurate, and we are going to get $50 or $22 a square foot, quick math tells us that's $171,000 in gross rents. That's like close to what we're getting on Grand, and we paid $1.5 million for that building, and this one we're paying $641 and plus putting, 90 grand into it. So we're going to be into this thing 730 plus closing costs, plus money costs and everything like that. So you can probably call that 900 grand at the most for everything. So 900 G's into a building that appraised for 975 without a remodel. I think we're in a pretty good spot there. 1.1, 1.2 million would be my guess to sell it vacant. And then, but if we get tenants and we get them at $22 a square foot, this is going to be a very, very, very hard building to not keep, because it's going to be easy to manage. It's a great solid building. The rents are going to be nasty. We could get a triple net in there and really light that on fire. Let's even include 20% expenses, which is aggressive, but call it $137,000 NOI, and our note on $1 million. Let's see here, because if we pulled out basically $1 million, they always want to be about 25% LTV, and we're looking at a $7,000 mortgage payment. So we'll be cash flowing like $4,500 a month. $500 a month. That's crazy. Sign me up for that. So we'll pull all of our money out, maybe even cut a little bit of a check to John and I at tax-free check, refi check, plus cash flowing that much. We won't have to bring in any partners at all. We will be 50-50 partners. So, that's just crazy. $4,412. That's hard to pass up on. Now, here's the other thing. I think we talked about this a little bit last time. Still, if we get a $1.5 million offer, then it's like, okay, well, we'll make over $600-700 grand today, as opposed to having this thing collecting rent. So tough call overall. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm going to have my work cut out for me. This is going to be a fun little remodel because it's not too aggressive. We're not doing anything wild and crazy. It's a very, very, very light, easy flip, or not a flip, but I guess you could call it a flip. Sure. Wholesale. I say that now, and hopefully I'm not going to eat my words. I know there are things that are going to pop up, but I am anticipating this to be fairly, fairly easy. I'm going to say it here, guys, under $90,000 of rehab, and we're going to get this thing listed for lease in 2 months from the day we close. So I said it. I'm going to put it out there. Hopefully that's true. That would be great. That would be great. And I will be posting updated videos as we progress on that on my Instagram, john.kleisch. You can follow me there for those updates as we post them. Next week, I might have some cool updates on closing. Another thing too that I completely forgot is I like gold, and I made not a promise, I guess you could just say some obligatory, something like that, I guess. Obligatory. We're not in English class here. Some random statement that I am going to buy a gold chain every time that I buy a new commercial building. This one right here, I bought when I closed on Grand. So this chain is called Grand. It's a 1 ounce of pure gold. And with Thunderbird closing up here, I am going to get a new one. So I get excited about that because it's a cool little thing, cool little commemorative piece. Now, I don't know if that's going to be just a little small one or an expensive one. I don't know. Maybe I'll trade in some gold coins that I have to trade up to a ball and thick necklace or a chain. I don't know. We'll see. But that wraps it up here for this episode on Thunderbird. Wish me luck. Hopefully these lender docs come in and we can close this week. That would be ideal. And like I mentioned before, I appreciate you guys listening. It means the world to me. We had, I forget if I said this, 75 downloads this past week. So I'm sorry, total. So 25 downloads this week alone. It took me, I don't know, 3 months to get to 50 downloads, and it took me 1 week to get 25. So that's really cool. I like that people are tuning in and listening. If you feel that this, somebody that would get some help by listening to this or think that they would find it interesting, please share it, subscribe, leave me a review, let me know what you think, and I would love to hear your feedback. Follow me on Instagram for those more updates throughout the week, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Take her easy.